I'll answer your question before you ask it. I really don't have any idea. Sterling will not play. He still hadn't gone full court. Leakey's not going to play. He hasn't practiced. Cam, I assume, will play. He practiced some yesterday and made it through the whole thing and did everything, just didn't do as many reps as he normally does. Nasir didn't do anything past half court and only did that the first 30 minutes of practice. And so we're going to practice here in 57 minutes, and we'll see what he does today.
Have you had to change what you've been doing just because of the number of guys getting banged up now?
Yeah, a little bit, but we decided probably some because of that, but before the game I decided that we were going to give them Tuesday and Wednesday off. And so we did that, and then after the game, needless to say, I thought it was best for those 2 or 3 guys particularly, but you have Thursday and Friday to get ready to play a game, and that's normally what we have because it's usually Saturday, Wednesday, or something like that. So originally we were just going to give them Tuesday off, and then I made a decision before the game to make it Wednesday. And so all we did Wednesday is let them come in and lift, and if they went shot, that was on their own.
With Sterling, has he been able to do a little bit more away from practice, but like working out or conditioning or anything?
Yeah, I think he's doing a lot. I mean, it's always been doing for 17 years. Is just get with our trainer and go swim and lay by the pool and do those kind of things. He's always been doing since he got hurt. But he's worked really hard with Jonas and Doug have worked really hard. I haven't seen it, so I don't know what Sterling's done. But they've spent a ton of time with him during this time period trying to strengthen his knee.
Roy, go ahead, John.
What are the biggest challenges when you have such we have little bodies, when you have so many people who can't participate fully?
You don't do as well in your preparation for the other team for sure because you're not getting that same kind of competition in practice. If Cam and Nasir, for example, are going against each other, that's a lot better competition in getting them trained ready for the kind of competition they're going to face in the game. Our walk-ons do a great job, but pick any walk-on, he's not as athletic as Nasir. Probably doesn't shoot as well as Cam, or he wouldn't be a walk-on. And we do everything with our walk-ons. If I eat steak, they eat steak. If Luke has to run 10:33s, they have to run 10:33s. But it's the fact of what kind of preparation and the people you're competing against in practice. And then the other thing, I mean, you guys are in here in press conferences early in the season. What are you going to do with all these guys? But basketball's a long season. I try to prepare for as many things as you can that might be a surprise to you, or as many negative experiences that might come up. And needless to say, when you have Leakey, Cam, and Nasir, that's 3 guys that are in the same boat. They're all 3 perimeter players. Now Sterling's in a different category because he's a big guy, but it tests your depth, and we've had some years where the same 5 guys start and stay healthy the whole year, but we've had some years where a ton of guys got hurt too.
Well, you mentioned after the game Monday night that you had worked on late game situations probably more in the previous week than you had all season. Mm-hmm. Is that the normal progression of a season, or is it just some things that maybe you've seen that you thought?
A little bit of both. I think later in the year you shorten practices and you've tried to fine-tune some things, but we haven't done a very good job. Now it all worked out. It's pretty. Against Miami, every play we called it worked, but it's been more of those other kinds where I'm thinking, God, we didn't get a very good shot. I mean, guys, we went, Steve, tell me if I'm wrong, I think we're like 1 for our last 11. You don't win games. Is that correct?
Sure.
Yeah, I think we're close. It's close. 1 for our last 11, and you don't win games like that. So we've a little bit of both.
Some of the guys said after the Miami game that one of the great values of the way that game played out was that you did have to call those timeouts. The young guys had to listen to you handle that moment. Haven't really had that so far this year. What was the value of the last couple of minutes of the Virginia game?
Well, it showed us that the Miami game didn't help us. That's what it was. I kept telling them in the huddle in the Miami game because we're down. I said we haven't won one like that this year. Let's play every possession. You never can tell at the end. We may have more points than they do, and some of the guys have been around 2 or 3 years, and have seen us do those kind of things and trusted what we do in practice every day. But Kobe and Nasir Waliki wasn't in the game, but those guys hadn't been through that kind of stuff. Garrison hadn't been through that kind of stuff. So I think that there was a value in that, but as I say, it didn't work very well, and didn't help us much in the Virginia game.
Do you think a lot was learned as a result of that?
I would have thought so, but I would have thought that would have transferred to the next game too, and it really didn't. But you learn from every experience, but what you want to do is you want to repeat those experiences that are successful and have them be successful again. And but we took some rush shots, and we had some really good shots that didn't go in. And in the Miami game, everybody was making shots.
Well, I know you like to use the passing game, kind of freelance style, for the majority of your possessions. Do you like calling set plays late, or only when you feel like you need to?
I don't like doing it. I do it only when I feel like I need to, because it's harder to scout. I mean, now every game's on TV, so they can watch every single possession. And now it's like football, where you have a whole week off. You know what plays they run, and so nobody knows what we run because I don't know. I mean, when they used to allow people to go scout games, we used to have a signal that we'd give, and it meant nothing. And we'd sit there. I mean, you got to do something during the course of the game. So you sit there and you watch the scouts starting to write crap down. And signal one meant, I don't know what you're going to do what you want to do. But we'd make a signal just to screw some things up, and like I say, just to let us have a little fun during the game, that kind of thing. And if we didn't call a number, then we were going to run a play. But now, I mean, every game's on TV, so it's one of the reasons I like it is that it's harder to prepare. The second reason I like it is I like to think that we help teach guys how to play the game of basketball. We have some set plays, but if a guy sets a good screen and rolls, you should know how to pass him the ball. If a guy set a screen and pops, you should know how to get him the ball. And so we try to do all those things during the course of a game and during the course of practice every day, just hopefully teaching them how to play basketball and how to play when something breaks down, how to handle adversity. I can remember every player I've ever coached, I called once they got in the NBA and asked them if they were prepared. And I'll never forget Paul Pierce said, "Coach, I'm the only guy on our roster that knows how to run a play." And that's don't write that. That's as an indictment towards anybody. It's just what the guy said. Don't carry it too far, but it is something I enjoy doing, trying to teach them how to have a good feel of the game, because kids don't play in the schoolyards anymore. Kids don't play pickup where you learn that this works and that doesn't work. You go to a tournament and you go and play with your team and you do what that team does all the time, but there's not any just freelance at learning how to play the game. And it's not just that's the only way to learn. Some coaches are really successful calling set plays a lot, really successful playing 60 and 70-point games. I just enjoy doing it the way I do it. And I used to play on the playground all the time, and I thought I learned a lot more about playing a game that way than I did just running a set play. And when Coach Smith, early in his career, they had really good success against Coach Rupp's Kentucky team. And they were a very set offensive team. And so Coach Smith ran a lot of double teams to take them out of what they're doing. And it's hard to take us out of what we're doing because we don't know. Sometimes we really don't know. That's the bad thing.
Coach, you have obviously a huge game next week.
I have no idea. I have no idea.
Are you
I have no
worried
idea.
at all about maybe looking past it?
I'm worried about Saturday's game. I wouldn't give blankety blank. We played the New England Patriots. And I don't think they play our sport. Maybe they do. But I'm thinking about Saturday's game. You guys are going to talk about that other crap enough. I don't have to worry about it.
I was concerned about Wake Forest as going over there.
Yeah, and because of that right there, I mean, people are going to say, God, I hope you beat Duke. I could give a blankety blank about that. I may die before next Wednesday. I want to get sad. I may die tomorrow. It depends on what it looks like when the 3 referees walk out. I think Wake usually really gets, is that? That's not real good, is it? you can drop one of those, okay, either usually or really. They tend to get fired up to play us. The crowd gets fired up to play us. They play well against us. We've had some good wins, but went up there one night where I don't think I'm going to miss this. They were 36 for 36 from the foul line. And so we're going up there trying to play tomorrow's game. We're going to try to prepare for tomorrow's game today and try to play better. I mean, we got a bad taste in our mouth that we didn't play very well the last pick at the time, 3 or 4, 5, 6, 4 minutes, whatever you want to pick, against Virginia, and we want to get that bad taste out of our mouths, and that's what I'd say. I mean, we've got to go play Wake Forest, and Danny's a good friend, Steve Woodbury, that's one of his assistants, one of my great college players that I had. Justin was my manager, so I know all those guys. I care about all those. And I had surgery the first time. Danny and Julie sent me some ice cream, so I'll never forget those kind of nice things happening to you also. But Childress has a game that he can make a lot of threes and get it going. Jalen Horde is a kid that we tried to recruit. I think he's extremely gifted. Shondae Brown is 2 or 3 20-point games since he got in the starting lineup. Those kind of guys, when you're having a difficult year, you look at one game, this may get you turned around. Then you look at the next game, this may get you turned around. If that doesn't do it, you look at the next game. And I think that's probably the way they're looking at this game is they have a tremendous opportunity to make people forget about some of the tough things, and there's still enough time to get on a run and do some good things for them.
Well, slightly off topic. I was wondering which ring, national championship ring, you wear. Do you rotate?
2017.
Okay. Is there a reason? Just the most recent one? Or?
Yeah, it's the most recent one, and some of the guys on this team gave it to me. You know, when all those guys leave, I guess Kenny and Luke.
Brandon.
No, 7th and B-Rob. Yeah, 7th and B-Rob. So I'll wear this one for 2 more years unless we get lucky and get another one.
And then the All-Star NBA All-Star Game this weekend. You had a lot of UNC players get traded in the last 2 weeks. I was wondering if you talk with them about that, or do you pay attention to any of those trades and what went on?
Yes, and yes. Spoke to Justin the night he was traded. Left a message for Harrison, didn't get him. Spoke to Wayne Ellington when he went through 3 teams in a 5-day stretch.
Reggie got traded.
Reggie left a message for Reggie.
I think that's it.
I think that's it. Yeah. And so I have either spoken to or left messages for them, and somebody else in our office, Eric Hoops, does a tremendous job of one of his deals is contact with foreign players, and he's spoken to all of them. I think he's spoken to all 4 of them.
Roy, over in Kansas, I think they had to pull a red shirt for a guy needing some help with the numbers. Can you recall a time in your career where you had a guy that you wanted to redshirt and then maybe thought, I see something in practice, I want to go with him, or needed to by numbers, or anything where you had to change plans mid-season like that?
No. I redshirted Travis Williams a year at Kansas, and he got hurt anyway. Jeff Carey, and we stuck with it. I told him I was going to redshirt him when I recruited him. It was the only way I would go through the process. The only player I've ever talked to about recruiting after I got him here, talked to about redshirt after I got him here, was Will Graves. And we decided to redshirt. I think, wasn't that Will's freshman year?
I thought he played and then he redshirted.
I thought it was Will's freshman year, but I'm not positive. Those are the only 3 guys I've ever, unless I'm just got somebody staring me in the face and I'm just forgetting about it. But we haven't had. I think Will's the only one I've ever done anything like it with that I didn't talk about it in recruiting.
Could you ever imagine a scenario, I mean, if you commit to redshirting a kid, are you going to have to stick with it, or do you think you could imagine yourself having to be like, I need the help, or this kid's playing better in practice and deserves the opportunity if he wants to? Could you see yourself doing that?
Yeah, I think but I think he'd have to agree. I mean, we had a football player one time that came in for 1 series, lost the whole year. You know, so I'm not going to do anything like that. But gosh, early in my career at Kansas, and I don't know that I'd say 100% either direction. I know I'd have to have a lot of, even in Will's situation, I said, I want to talk to you about something. He said, yeah, my dad and I've been thinking about that. You know, so they had even talked about it themselves. But it's hard to say what you do in any situation. But Bill, this kid's really good, and was playing really well in practice, and they had a lot of injuries. So I'm sure they had a great conversation to talk about it, I'm sure.
Yeah, Will did. He came in with that 6-player class, with Wayne and Ty and Dan, all those
Yeah.
guys, and he did redshirt in
His
06,
freshman, yeah.
07, and then played the next 3 years.
Yeah.
You mentioned you're good friends with Danny. Is there time in the coaching fraternity to offer support, or is it just the next game up, you gotta keep moving?
No, I talk to coaches a lot during the season. In ACC, it's hard because, you know, you may like a guy, but you got to get to work. You know, I'll call people all the time during the season, 5 or 6, 7 coaches I've already called during the season, and to say something to them about how it's going or whatever. When I see Danny on the road, I go over and talk to him. I've been on the road and seen Woodbury, and we've had some conversations trying to give him some support. But in the ACC, I'm telling you, it's just a grind, and you care about other people, and they know it. And I think Danny knows that too.
I was gonna say earlier that Bill Warren, when his kids were going through AAU ball, he said practice is what we did when we weren't playing on our own on the playground.
Yeah, but you know, no kids, the kids just don't do that anymore. It's not, there's too many people around, personal trainers, summer league coaches that want to do this and that and this and that. But for kids just to go play by themselves, that doesn't really happen much anymore. And you know, it's this generation's what it is, and it's okay.
Anybody else? We'll get cameras here.